The internet's latest waifu, Amelia, has been getting a lot of attention recently, and over the past couple weeks, there's been many attempts by people within the British government in order to try to suppress her because the message that she spreads about how you should have patriotism for your country, support your own culture, there's nothing wrong with questioning the government, that's resonating with pretty much everyone besides far left extremists. And since the British government is filled up with far left extremists who hate the country, we can't have that. So first, the game that she was featured in, Pathways, was taken down. Then once that created kind of a Streisand effect, they brought it back up. But that just kind of exacerbated her spread, and now it's starting to break into the mainstream. So now the British mainstream propaganda wing is starting to attack her. But before we really look into this article from The Guardian and seeing what they have to say about her, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. So like I said, this is coming from The Guardian with this headline: Meet Amelia, the AI-generated British schoolgirl who is a far-right social media star. The avatar created to deter young people from extremism has been subverted and is breaking out of niche online silos. So like I said, it's getting into the mainstream. More people are starting to take a liking to her, so they're trying even harder in order to try to demonize her, but I don't think it's going to work. I like this photo that they shared. For people who don't know, this is reminiscent of that photo of the Iranian woman protesting over there, burning a picture of the Ayatollah. So this girl over in the UK mimicking that with the purple wig that's icon and the choker that's iconic of the character of Amelia. That's another reason why this character has actually just kind of taken off, is because she has such an iconic look and it's easily replicable that people can't help but cosplay as it and mimic it, and also just share memes consisting of Amelia and other things like that. But here, let's just look at what they're saying here. So in certain corners of the internet, on niche news feeds and algorithms, an AI-generated British schoolgirl has emerged as something of a phenomenon. Her name is Amelia, a purple-haired goth girl who proudly carries a mini-union flag and appears to have a penchant for racism. The penchant for racism isn't really found in the game at all. I mean, I actually played the game on this channel. You can check out my playthrough of it. I mean, it's not very long. It's just kind of a point and click, choose your own adventure sort of thing. It just gives you scenarios and asks you what you would do in that situation. It's basically an HR type game, but there really wasn't racism in there other than her saying that there was nothing wrong with supporting British culture. Britain should be for British people and not necessarily for foreigners. I mean, if that's racism, then that's actually a pretty broad definition of racism, but that's kind of what they're trying to push when it comes to this sort of thing. If you're unfamiliar with Amelia, the chances are you will soon encounter one viral meme or another inspired by her on Facebook or X, where her reputation is growing. Videos of Amelia typically feature her walking through London or the House of Commons, declaring her love of England and warning of the dangers of militant Muslims or third world migrants. Yeah, and anyone who's actually living in these places that are being infested with a lot of these third world people then could tell you, it's like, yeah, there actually is a problem. The fundamental makeup of the country and of these cities are changing. I mean, what is it? Last year, they said that the most common new name for a baby born in the UK is Muhammad. I mean, that doesn't sound very British to me, but some people are saying like, oh, if you're in England then or in Britain, then you're a British citizen. It's like, okay, you could probably say that or whatever, but I mean, you're not really British if that's what it takes. I mean, if that's the case, then there's really no such thing as being British. But there's a lot of people who actually believe like, no, you should have pride in your country and you should have pride in your culture. And there's nothing you shouldn't be ashamed for having pride in your own culture. I mean, at least the character of Amelia, that's what she's saying. And a lot of people are kind of waking up to this idea. It's like, yeah, I mean, if having pride in your country or not having pride in your country means that you're going to be taken over and eventually just subverted by new people coming in and basically fundamentally changing everything that you like about your country, then maybe we'll kind of side with Amelia on this one. So the message is one, well rehearsed on far right social media. It's also well rehearsed amongst anyone who's paying attention, and at least a growing number of people within the middle of the political spectrum, even on the left side of the political spectrum. Like I said, the only people who are against the message that Amelia spreads are basically far left extremists who hate their country. But it is the AI invention of Amelia that has made her endlessly adaptable, creating a viral internet trend that anyone with access to mainstream chatbot can take part in. Yeah, and that's kind of the fun about this. Like I said, she has a unique, iconic look to her, and that helped further the spread of her influence. I said during my playthrough, the problem with what they did is they made a conventionally attractive girl with basically saying stuff that is pretty sensible takes. If they wanted to try to I don't know, kind of undermine this sort of thing, they would have not had a singular character of Amelia say these sort of things, but maybe just had like generic looking characters, several ones. So you don't have like this one person to try to gravitate towards. But unfortunately for them, their attempts at propaganda just backfired ridiculously. And now it's basically being used as a tool to show like, this is how bad the UK government is, because in the game itself, it's basically like if you just wanted to do if someone said you sent you something or whatever, and you wanted to do your own research on it, they're like, oh, well, that's a bad thing. You shouldn't do your own research. You should just listen to what the governments tell you and never question them. And obviously that's not going to resonate with most people on there, which helps further her influence. The origin of the character is ironic to say the least. An early iteration of Amelia began life in a counter-extremism video game funded by the UK Home Office and created to deter young people aged 13 to 18 from being attracted to far-right extremism in Yorkshire. And yeah, they just made they're saying like, okay, if this is what far-right extremism is, then far-right extremism actually sounds pretty reasonable. At least that's the way they presented it in the game. So it talks about what the game actually is. How I said it's just kind of like it presents scenarios and then asks you what you would do in those situations, and it kind of rates you accordingly. During my playthrough, though, I was just kind of taking middle of the road approaches. Like an example, it's like there's a protest going on. What do you do? Stay home, take part in the protest, just go there and watch. And it's like, okay, fine, I'll go there, stand off to the side and watch. And they said like, oh, that's a bad thing. You should be re-educated for doing that. You can't ever even just watch that stuff or even listen to other people's views. You have to basically just reject them outright. Otherwise you're an extremist and you could be recommended for re-education camps. I mean, I'm not even joking. That's exactly what they did in that game, which is frankly, as an American listening to that, I thought that was pretty shocking because I've heard about the speech laws in the UK being pretty extreme. I didn't know they were that bad. I thought, okay, yeah, they clearly don't have free speech like they do in the US, but I didn't know it was more authoritarian than places like Russia or China, which actually annually, apparently they've arrested less people combined than what the UK arrests for speech crimes, which I think is frankly surprising. However, it is a subversion of the Amelia character that has exploded across social media channels in a way that has astonished even the creators of the original game. Among the plethora of increasingly sophisticated AI-generated iterations are a manga-style Amelia, a Wallace and Gromit version, and AI-generated real-life encounters between her and the characters of Father Ted and Harry Potter, accompanied by racist language and far-right. Yeah, the racist language is basically like Britain should be for British people and stuff like that. Okay, so scrolling further down, just talking about some of the other things about how she's just like terrible and other stuff. Trying to rope in how like, oh, it's basically spreading on X, owned by Elon Musk. He's a terrible person. So you're basically trying to equate the two. If it's getting a lot of attention on X, then that means it's a bad thing. That's also why the British government is trying to suppress X and other social media platforms that promote free speech, because they can't really basically put a lid on the narrative anymore. They can't control the information. So now they're going to, or they tried to control the information in the past and it's not working. So now they're basically going to try to resort to censorship, because that's what all authoritarian regimes do. Once they lose control of the narrative through propaganda and other means like that, then they go to censorship. So the company itself has been the target of a deluge of hate mail. That's the one that actually created this game, including threats that have now been reported to the police. Yeah, I mean, they don't say what the threats actually are, though. I think it's just basically people mocking them. But even then, it's the internet. If you're getting threats online, how realistic are they? I mean, I've even gotten many threats online. I mean, just kind of chalk it up to like, yeah, that's just what happens. I mean, if they're actually legitimate threats, then arrests will be made. If arrests aren't made, then it was probably just people crap talking online. There has been a lot of misrepresentation, unfortunately, he said. The game does not state, for example, that questioning mass migration is inherently wrong. Yes, it does. It says it's wrong to question mass migration. The game presents it as that. So this article, or at least this person that they're quoting, is just flagrantly lying here. Others have suggested the initiative had backfired, not least by casting a cute goth girl as a negative character, leading to her inadvertently becoming a focus of admiration. But Bergman said the game, which used feedback from focus groups with young people and has developed with a specific local threat picture in mind, continued to be used, and feedback from schools and others was positive. And this is what I said about this game. That's pretty much all there is. I mean, just various attempts in order to try to smear the character of Amelia to be like, okay, this character that everyone likes, she's a bad person. You shouldn't like her. But the reason why I think this happened is I think part of it is that they're just stuck in their own echo chamber. So they didn't listen to feedback from people on the opposite side of the political aisle. They were just listening to their own people. So they were stuck in their own little, I don't know, echo chamber. And that's why this kind of got away from them in a manner that they couldn't have foreseen. But also with the simple fact that people who have this kind of political ideology couldn't do anything but cast a conventionally attractive white person as the antagonist, because according to these people, those are the only people that are actually acceptable to demonize. I mean, you couldn't have cast a non-white fat person or ugly person or whatever, because that's who these people are inside, or actually inside and out. That's their base. So they can't risk demonizing their base. So they tried to go after the one group that they thought was acceptable to go after. And it just backfired. They created this icon. And like I said before, they could have found other ways to subvert that, or if they were a little bit more intelligent. But let's be honest, if these people were intelligent, then they would just argue their own points instead of just trying to censor opposition or demonize their opposition. So it's funny to see how far this is spread. And I'm surprised that it's kind of stuck around as long as it is, because the internet usually has a pretty quick memory when it comes to these sort of things. But it's been sticking around for a while, and I don't see it going away anytime soon. But let me know what you think about this and the Amelia character in the comment section below. Also, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you want to stay up to date with the latest entertainment news. And don't forget to hit that like button and share this video out there, because it helps out with the channel. Thank you.